All right. Aloha, my Ohana Pono. So tonight, I'm going to give you guys a brief summary of this concept that's not really was created by Orson Welles, but he made it famous by his novel 1984. For those that have never heard of 1984, I highly recommend you either read the book or at least go see the movie. How we doing, Brian Griffin? Uh, yeah, if I ever get in Fringe's chat and catch her streams, I'll give you a dancing taco. So the situation that we have arrived at is very uh, eerily similar to the setup of the book 1984, and it evolves around this concept of thought police. Right? You can't think anything that is negative. You can't think anything that is outside of the status quo of what the government wants you to think. And in the book, it's very futuristic about how they're able to detect your thoughts. How you doing, Believe 3.0? Uh, and I normally have a camera, but I have a brand new HD cam coming in the mail. So I've switched over to my main computer. That's why I don't have our cam right now. So in reality, our thought police is our very own cell phones. Our thought police is that which we don't notice yet we reveal all of our secrets around, and not just spoken secrets. The government can and has and will continue to track you and your movements through your phone. It's really easy to do. You cannot turn your phone off anymore. Even when you power it down, it's still on. The only way to depower a cell phone is to remove the battery. Now, once you look at your battery at your phone, tell me if you can get it open and take it out. The answer to that is you can't, and that's the reason for it. It's not to save on production, it's not an increase of technology. They've made it so that you cannot remove your battery from your phone. Therefore, you cannot remove them tracking you. Uh, so, with these, we're going to have some massive food shortages coming up here in the next week. Starting next week, you're going to see pork shoot through the roof in terms of inflation. Now, that's going to happen over the next 30 to 60 days. But what you're going to initially see is just no pork. So I recommend, if you're a meat eater, you go to the store this weekend and you stock up on meat, on pork. Specifically, pork will disappear. So you control people through food. And it's a very fine balance on that control. You have to give people enough food to be able to control them. If there's no food to go around, there's no controlling the people. But we are very much entering an Orwellian totalitarian style government, just like 1984. It's very prevalent and it's very evident. If you just look at the bills that we've been passing, the laws, the executive orders that have been written into existence over the last 2 months, it would shock you. You don't see it and you don't hear it because the media is too focused on all of the distractions that they themselves have been handed to by the same people, right? All of these corporations, all of these conglomerate media outlets, they say the same narrative. And I'm not talking about they speak about the same narrative. I mean, word for word, they say the same things all across the board from local to major. And thought police is not only your cell phones, but the ability to control you through subliminal messaging, through predictive programming, and through general uh, wearing down of the concept that we're all in this together. We have to build this notion and this idea and this belief that we are divided, that there must be a difference between Republicans and Democrats. There must be a difference between black people and white people. There must be a difference between Jewish people and Islamic people. And the truth is that there is no difference between any of those people. They're all people. What they believe and what they feel and what they think is utterly unique to them. But as a human being, we are all on this planet breathing air and trying our best to survive this mess we call life. How we doing, Dallas? Yeah, so Believe 3.0, you say you have a flip phone and you can take the battery out. Yes, that's true. But look at any phone that's came out since 2012. No, you can't. And the thing is, there's a workaround for that. It's in place. You can actually look it up. I don't know specifically the name of the website or the article, but if they're able to get 5G fully functional, and we could talk about that for a whole stream, but if they are able to get 5G fully functional across the board, your phone will be out of use. You won't be able to use it anymore. It won't be able to adapt the technology. So you will be forced to buy something that does have a battery that cannot be taken out. Oh, look, Dallas, they don't even have to admit that. We can track you through various means. One of the things is through satellite imaging and tracking. It's very easy. We can literally look through your window with 1080p from space and see you and see your movements. It's gotten to the point to where humans have become so predictive in their movements. We've gotten into this monotonous role of life. We go to the same places that after enough GPS tracking, they don't even need to know where your phone is or where you're at. They know where you're going to go. And it's not just people. They've developed very complex algorithms that can now be powered by quantum supremacy, right? So Google admitted that they have finally achieved quantum supremacy. And getting into quantum physics is just this whole other situation. Quantum mechanics, the way that quantum computers work, is very interesting. Needless to say, that with something being powered by a quantum computer, they can literally predict every movement you will ever make and map out every single path that you went with a quantum computer. And you can't do that with a regular computer. You can do that somewhat. Well, what I'm saying, yeah, what I'm telling you is that you're not going to be able to use those phones, those cell phones that are flips and the ones that have batteries. They won't be able to run on a 5G network. They can still run on a 4G network. They won't be able to run it on a 5G network. What's going on, Daniel? I like Daniel. He's a good guy. He's always got something good to say. So getting back to the 1984, so they've been tracking us through our phones. They've been having all of these different predictive programming and commercials. Like I took a look at a video today about the 2012 London Olympics opening, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, not by nature. I was at one point, and then I got proven wrong one too many times, and I just said the hell with it. And so I'm very adamant about not just taking conspiracy and running with it. 9 times out of 10, it is somebody desperately trying to see what they want to see. And they'll take any little symbolism or any little this or that and stretch it and superimpose it to the whole thing, saying, hey, see, look, this is proving my conspiracy theory right. So with that being said, if you have not seen the opening to the London 2012 Olympics, I can't explain that. It is too much like predictive programming. It is too much like laying out the plan in front of you. And when I saw it today, I've heard talk about it over the last few days. So I decided to take a look into it. And I can't refute it. I can't say, hey, look, this guy is just trying to see something that isn't there. They literally showed a coronavirus strain. I mean, they have hospital beds. They have the Grim Reaper. It's very, very interesting. And they talk about the crown. They actually mention the word crown a few times in their dialogue or the monologue that guy that's voicing over. And what does corona mean? It means crown. So very interesting. I recommend taking that a look. I was trying to find that video and another video. Now I cannot remember the name of the guy's his first name, but his last name is Vox. And he, I guess, is an independent journalist or independent reporter. He did an interview back in 2014 that literally he's talking about the way that the NWO is going to take over. They need pandemics, they need curfews, and they need quarantines. That's how they're going to take our rights away from us. And as I was watching this and listening to this, had I listened to this video a year ago, I would have come to the same conclusion that I would have any other time, was that this guy is just a kook, right? He's read one too many conspiracy theory novels. But today he is absolutely right. I mean, almost word for word how he said it was going to go down. The thing is, I can't find that video now. I found it on someone put it on Twitter earlier, but I can't. Twitter can only go back so far in the day. It won't. And I can't remember the account that had tweeted this interview, but I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. Anyway, he got this all this information from online public knowledge about the Rockefeller Group running these plan scenarios, and almost word for word, it talks about the complete and utter control and handover of power to an authoritarian government across the world. And I think that's exactly what's happening. We are transferring power to an authoritative government. And I couldn't tell you what's going to happen from that point. I can guess and speculate. I could tell you how 1984 went. If you have never read that book, or again, if you've never seen the movie, go do so. Watch it tonight. At least watch the movie. The movie leaves out so much from the book. The book is just infinitely better, as most times it is, but the movie is just so well done. It gets the same message across regardless. You've got William Hurt, who plays the prime minister, or the guy. He's such a phenomenal actor. So definitely check out 1984. The truth is it's not a movie anymore. Just like that movie Idiocracy is not a movie anymore. It's become documentaries. We are testing the limits of the age-old question of, does life imitate art, or does art imitate life? Well, the answer is yes. It's both. So yeah, I've brought this up to my friends. Brian Griffin, you bring a point. I bet they're watching us and know we are talking about next. Of course. So again, you are trained, and not you, but me, but most of us are trained to not leave our house without our phone, because we feel naked, we feel vulnerable, we have these thoughts of fear porn that's been drilled into our brains since 2001, when America transitioned into a state of constant fear porn and panic, and telling us who the big bad boogeyman is across the seas, and that we should hate them and dislike them because of their religion. And people just willingly bought into it because we were attacked. But ever since then, there's been no good news anymore. It's all bad news. It's all negative, because we've been trained to, that's what we want. That's what we accept. It's negative news. And with this constant fear porn and this constant distrust of people, including the government, now you couple it with the simple fact that we're introducing social distancing and we're isolating people further from each other. That creates more distrust among people, because our fear porn is in full mode. And I say that from someone who believes that this virus is real. I don't think that it is. It's one of two things. This virus is either nowhere near as bad as they say, or it is 100% worse than what they say it is. And I'm leaning towards the former. But coming from someone that believes in this virus and has military experience with viruses, I can tell you that the way we reacted, the way that we took drastic measures, yes, it could have been just because this virus can be that bad. But I think that it had something to do with taking over and getting control. So if you want a good example of 1984, just start looking at all of the news from January 22nd out, and then you'll see a summary of 1984. And I'm talking about our history, what we're going through right now. Hey, Murphy, how we doing? We're going through not only a massive transfer of wealth, we're going through a complete and utter destruction of our economy, a devaluation of our dollar, hyperinflation. You're going to have pork shortages, chicken shortages, meat shortages. You're going to have crop losses. You're going to have civil unrest. You're going to have civil revolt, and you're going to have a civil revolution. Now, I can't tell you who wins. Who knows? But I know that we don't have enough strong-willed people on either side. It's really easy to believe that you're a badass, sitting at home behind your computer screen, cleaning your guns you've never fired at somebody before. It's really easy to have a mindset that you're going to be this big badass boss hog who's just going to run up on the government the moment things start stepping out of line. It don't work that way. Most people will piss their pants. It's only after you've witnessed enough attrition do you lose that fear of dying, or you choose not to flee anymore. You choose to fight. But you're going to find out real quick, all of your internet badasses, how badass they've been their whole years, making videos about them throwing knives at tree trunks. Try throwing a knife at a moving target. Let's see how well you do. Try firing at a moving target. Try taking a life. It's not easy. And it stays with you your whole life. Trust me. So when we declare martial law, which we will declare martial law, it is going to be a combination of the military and our militarized police. You see, our police are more indoctrinated than our military, because when you join the military, it doesn't matter what branch it is, you take an oath. And the oaths differ slightly from branch to branch. But one of the only things that you do not take an oath on is to fire upon your own countrymen. And that is something that even the most brainwashed soldier will question. Because not everybody joins the military to kill people. Not everybody joins the military to be a career person. They join it because they need to pay their bills. They join it because it's free college. They join it because they don't have a job. They join it because their parents made them. They join it because if they don't, they'll die of an overdose. All of these different reasons why people join. The police is different. The police is choice. The police force attracts a certain type of mind, a person that wants power, a person that loves the authority trip. They're the ones that are in it to win it. Now, I'm not saying all police are bad. I'm saying that the people that become police are far more susceptible to brainwashing and to predictive programming than the military is. The military is less likely to fire upon its own people. The police are not. They do it every day. Black, white, don't matter. Police kill people when they shouldn't. They respond with lethal force when they shouldn't. And they get a slap on the wrist at best, 8 out of 10 cases. How we doing, Chameleon Lizard? Well, I don't know if the police equal the Masons. I tell you what I do know. I speak on what I can verify, and I can tell you this: the police are absolutely the strong arm of the government now. That's what they are. You can call them Masons, you can call them Freemasons, you can call them Illuminati. I don't care what you call them. The term don't mean anything. We get so hooked up and focused on terms and definitions and groups, and none of that matters. The reality is that it's the long arm of the law. And the long arm of the law has a leash on it, and that leash is held by the federal government. So you can call it what you want. It doesn't matter. That's who cares? I'm nothing against you specifically, but that's where a lot of times, people who are truth seekers, they get so focused on it because they have this myopic mindset that they're trying to see one thing. Like, for example, Freemasons. Everything has to be Freemasons, Freemasons, Freemasons. Everything has to be Q, right? With the Q-tards, you have that. Everything's the plan, the plan, the plan, the plan. People are so focused on things that don't matter. They're not important. It doesn't matter what you call the takeover. It doesn't matter what the people are called who take over. The simple fact is they are taking over, and that's what's important. Well, not only did the police want to be soldiers, the states and the federal government has trained them just like soldiers. As a matter of fact, I imagine that a lot of our police forces are more combat proficient than a lot of our military. Our military is nothing like when I was in. When I was at pretty much the very last basic training for real military, where they could put their hands on you, they could choke you out. They could do all these things that they cannot do now. The military, especially in the Army, they have stress cards. They took those away, but you can't yell at your privates. You can't toughen them up. You can't weed them out of basic training. That's the whole point of basic training, is to weed out weak people. Only strong people make it through. And it's not because it's a physical strength. It's all about psychological. They need to break you down and rebuild you so that you're more easily controlled and that you take orders. And you see, I always had a problem with that. I didn't like taking orders. I was not subjective to this predictive programming. My mind just works differently. It always has. And for a lot of people that watch videos like mine, have that same mindset. There's the brain may be the same in terms of the organism, but how it functions and how it works and the different frequencies that it works on is different from individual to individual. And I truly believe, since we are beings of frequency, we are beings of vibration, just like all of life is vibration, that certain vibrational frequencies like predictive programming and brainwashing, when it hits people that think differently, like you and I, we actually notice it and reject it immediately, because we immediately say, what was that just popped up on the screen? Whereas the vast majority of people don't see it and they just suck it in and soak it in. So, all right, Dallas said the police cars around here in Wisconsin, they are black and blue, dark blue stripes. They look metallic. Look, the military has heavy weaponry. I said this in one of my videos, that you could literally gather up all of the police in our country and put them on a couple of boats and take them to any country in South America, and they'll beat the army of that country. They don't have big ass tanks and stuff like that, but you get what I'm saying. Like a man for man and weapon for weapon and personnel vehicle. Look, we are loaded to the teeth when it comes to our military. We've already successfully declared martial law with our police when the Boston Marathon bomber went on a run with his brother. They locked down the entire city of Boston. They took away everybody's rights too. They initiated a mandatory curfew. There was to be nobody outside, and people cheered quietly from inside of their houses, because he was an Islamic terrorist, because he was this thing, these buzzwords that we have been trained over the last 12 years to hate indiscriminately with no reason as to why, only because we're told to. And so the police proved very effectively that they can absolutely do that job for the military in case the military doesn't do it. Now, you're still going to have your hard asses. You're still going to have your people in the Army or in the military, any branch that is all about it no matter what, right? Just like Democrats will vote blue no matter who, just like Republicans will always vote red instead. I had to light up. All right, Dan, you said only about 3 months ago, sitting at my computer, I happened to catch the barrel of a machine gun outside my living room window. Looking out, they had the neighbor's house surrounded. Yeah. They don't play anymore. And not only that, but they're still on a daily basis going into the wrong houses. And a lot of times it ends peacefully, but there are many times where it doesn't, where someone will just kick in the door of somebody and that person thinks they're being broken into and they go for a gun or something and the police mow them down. And then it was only afterwards, it was like, oh, well, we made a mistake. We'll get better intel next time. We're going to slap the wrists of these people that killed this guy in cold blood because they were doing their job, people. It's not their fault. They got the intel. The intel was wrong. Well, they shouldn't be there in the first place kicking in anybody's door. Now, if anyone kicks in my door, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go straight for my shotgun. And I'm probably going to kill that first cop that comes in because I'm not going to know the cops, for one, because there's no reason for a cop to kick in my door. So I'll kill that first cop most likely, but then they'll probably gun me down. And it'll all be a big misunderstanding because they're trying to go to the house next door and they went to the wrong house, right? It happens on a daily basis. The death part of it doesn't always happen, but cops kick in doors of the wrong people all the time. Oh yeah, they don't watch you fail, but either. Here's what cops will do. especially today. Cops will lie to you on the spot because they assume that you don't know the penal codes. You don't know the different regulations. There is no law against you recording a cop doing that. Cops will tell you that to your face. You're not allowed to film me, sir. Yes, I am. You're impeding my investigation. Not from 30 feet away, sir. So they'll try to bust you. And I feel bad for you if you live in a small town, because in a big town you can get away with fucking with cops like that. But in a small town, you get on their radar. You know, they will plant drugs in your car. They do it on a daily basis. They get caught on a daily basis because they get bonuses if they get shit like that happen. Not only that, but they get to put you in jail legally because they found a marijuana or they found LSD on you or something like that. It happens all the time. And that's not even a conspiracy. That's just straight up facts. They're corrupt. Not all of them. But the police as a whole is far more corrupt than the military as a whole. And I can speak on that with authority. Some authority, not absolute authority, because I have been in both worlds. I have been in the police world and I've been in the military world. And I can tell you, I go with the military every day of the week. So, and you don't forget that, like I said a little earlier, being a cop attracts a certain type of mind, right? You have people that want to join the police force and make a difference. But just like someone who wants to be a politician and makes a difference, the moment you get into that environment and into that world, you either fall in line or you get out. You see, when you think you're going to be a politician who's going to change the world, the moment you get into Congress, your party sits you down and says, look here, chief, here's how it really goes down. You don't like it, you can leave. Nobody will believe you if you tell them like it is. Nobody will believe you. You either vote how we tell you to vote, and then we'll give you some scraps here and there, or you get out of our way. And that happens every day with cops, and that happens with politicians. You get a good cop in there. Good cops don't always last because they see the corruption, and there's nothing they can do to change it. And the longer they stay on the force, the more they're complacent to it. And when you're complacent to something, you're complicit to something. And some cops do want the chance to shoot somebody. Some people have that mentality. They can't wait. Some people want to take a life just because they want to know what it feels like. Right? And that is a certain mindset. And unfortunately, there's a lot of cops who do have that mindset. They're just waiting for the perfect opportunity. Oh, sorry. Too big of a hit. Oh. Wow. Anyway. Ooh, sorry about that. Some cops get drunk every night. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm sure. I have no doubt. Just like that. And that's true for any profession, right? Every night, somebody's getting drunk on the job, off the job. So, but, when you're a cop, you probably shouldn't be doing that, right? So, yeah, I don't cough as much as I used to, but I got some new strains. And I actually mixed the two together. I always do that. When I'm buying strains, I'll usually smoke out with the people I'm buying with first to see if I like it. And then if I find a couple of strains that are really good separately, I'll take a part of them and combine the two and do a mix joint. And that's what one of these are. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video here now because it was very quick. I didn't have anything in terms of material set up, but I really appreciate you guys coming out and supporting this. And thank you for your input. And I will have a stream tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be a more professional stream. I'll have a lot more stuff digging into. I'm going to get into a subject. It's going to be about an hour. All right. Aloha. Mahana pono.